Hi, I'm Jessica from playitforwardtherapy.net, and today we're going to talk shop. We're going to talk about telehealth. So when it comes to becoming a really excellent online therapist, I think there are three key factors to really help you become an amazing therapist, to the point where one day you're going to feel like you're just as competent and just as confident online as you are in person. There are a couple things that can help you get started. But before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. Let's talk shop. Many of us as therapists, we are hands-on therapists. We're used to doing manual therapy and to seeing our clients or our students in person. But because of certain circumstances, particularly the pandemic, different changes in our career situation, we've suddenly found ourselves having to pivot, and to pivot quickly, ready or not. And when this happens, there are a couple things. You can either have a smooth path to that pivot and becoming an online therapist, or it could be a rather bumpy road. So I'm going to tell you three things that will really help you have the smoothest path possible as you hone your skills as an online therapist. But before we do that, I'd like to share with you a story. Now, I'm a native of the Pacific Northwest, and one of the great pastimes here is skiing. And when people would ask me, do you ski? I would sheepishly have to admit that no, I didn't, which is pretty incredible for having lived here all my life. But the time came when my daughter started taking ski lessons, and my husband was an avid skier, and I thought, you know what? It's time for me to learn a new skill. So on Christmas, I had gotten a whole bunch of ski equipment just to make sure that my boots fit and I had some decent skis. And then the next day, we were going to go skiing. So what I did that night is I was lying in bed and I watched YouTube videos on how to ski. And I thought, okay, you know what? That doesn't look so bad. So the time came when we got up to the lodge, we drove up to the pass, and I started having some doubts. I started feeling nervous. I started feeling like, I feel like I'm too old to learn how to ski. I'm in my mid-40s, and that's just kind of getting up there to start taking up a new sport. I also thought, oh my gosh, what if I fall and I have an accident? I can only imagine what that could look like. And so I had these kind of doubts starting to creep in before I had even set foot on the ski slope. I kept this to myself. I put on a strong face, and when it was time to go out to ski, I was all hooked up and latched up, and we went to the first beginner slope. Now, this was really a little slope, but I was really stuck because I didn't know how to turn. And I just found myself kind of shuffling back and forth and not making very much progress. And so I turned to my husband and I said, so how do you turn? How do you stop? And he looked at me and he replied, well, you watched the YouTube video. And at that moment, I said, yes, but it's not the same. So how do you turn? How do you stop? And he's like, well, you'll figure it out. You'll just feel it. But it was at that moment that actually we decided that it's probably not the best idea for a spouse to be coaching skiing and teaching me how to ski. So at that point, we went ahead and we got an instructor. And this instructor, who was very experienced, you could tell he was a seasoned skier. However, this is what he told me. So he was behind me as I was skiing down this really tiny slope, and he would say, turn left or turn right. And I thought, oh my gosh, I know that I need to turn left and turn right because I can see the posts in front of me. I can see the little toddlers whizzing by and the preschooler on my right side. I know that I'm not supposed to hit any objects or people, but how do you turn? So that was the difference. He was telling me what to do, but he wasn't telling me how to do it. So somehow, very stiffly and straight-legged, I made it down to the bottom of the slope to what's called a magic carpet. Now, the magic carpet is like an escalator, and I shuffled onto the escalator, and it just goes up and it brings you back up to the top of the slope so you can practice again. So I got on the escalator, and it did kind of throw me off balance a little bit, but I felt like I was, okay, just trying to relax and take some deep breaths, but I still wasn't quite sure how to move on skis. So fortunately, I was able to slide off the magic carpet ride, and I went down a few more times, very stiff-legged, and my husband said, "You know what? I think let's go to the chairlift. Let's try this." And I looked at my daughter. She was ready to go. She'd been already skiing big black diamond hills. So I thought, you know what? If she can do this, I can do this. So I shuffled over to the chairlift, and again, I was feeling quite nervous because doubt was kind of creeping into my head. And I was thinking, first of all, how do I get on the chairlift? It's moving, so I have to kind of watch as the chairlift is coming past me. And when the next one comes, I need to make sure I get on the line, and I need to be able to sit back and hop on and not miss the chairlift. So my daughter held my hand, and I shuffled up to the chairlift, and I was anticipating, and I hopped on, plunk. I made it onto the chairlift. My worst fear was that they would have to stop the chairlift for me, and everybody on the mountain would be stopped because of me. But fortunately, that didn't happen. I was just thinking the worst, right? But as I started going up the chairlift with my little daughter sitting next to me, I was just enjoying the beauty all around me. I was enjoying the sights, the fresh air, the calmness, and it kind of clicked. I thought, oh, I can kind of see why people like skiing. And then it was time to get off. And fortunately, I was able to smoothly descend off the chairlift onto the top of the slope. And at that moment, I just felt exhilarated. These were just little baby steps, but I was able to accomplish them without any major mishaps because I had the right equipment and I had some not so good coaching. But this is what was going to happen next. This is where I was going to get some better coaching in. My husband looked at me and he said, I've been watching and I think this could really help you. This is how you turn. You want to shift your weight and pick up a foot slightly, shift your weight, and you always want to be looking where you want to go. So you want to keep your head and your eyes pointed the direction you want to go. And so with those two really simple, concrete steps, and with the right equipment, and with a change in mindset that I got this, I can try this, I can do this, I was able to ski down that little hill successfully. And at the bottom of the hill, you would have thought that I had done this major accomplishment. But for me, everything that I had learned along the way, it really helped me have a smooth journey and a smooth path down without crashing. And I definitely had to practice some more, but I was equipped with the right tools that I needed to start off with success. So when I think about this ski story and my very first experience on the slopes, I think of it as telehealth as well. So when it comes to learning any new skill, it definitely takes practice, but there are 3 things that will really help. And the first thing is mindset. So just having the mindset that I can do this, and to be flexible and to be open to coaching, and to also know that just because you haven't done something, or maybe you've always done something a certain way, it doesn't mean that you can't pivot. And so just make sure that you take a deep breath, know that you're not alone, and that you got this. So the first thing is mindset. The second thing is having the right equipment. So just like having ski equipment, it's important that you have the right equipment that is the right fit for you and for what you need to do. If you have skis that are too long, you're going to have a rough time. If you have equipment that isn't working for you, or a telehealth software that's really clunky, it's really going to affect your performance, just like ski equipment will affect your performance on the slopes. And the last thing is coaching. So having a really good coach. So again, it's one thing to watch YouTube videos, and it's another thing to actually be doing it and practicing in real time and getting feedback on how you're doing, or getting customized coaching to say, you know what, this is what I see you're doing. You need to do this one thing, and this will really help you. So I think it's the same way with telehealth and with coaching. It is very much personalized. And if there are certain challenging things that you're experiencing, it could be the tech, It could be mindset. It could be challenges with getting your parents on board. It could be challenges with having your kids be engaged. Or maybe you're really concerned about the kids being able to pay attention and to be able to interact and to engage. Then what is it that you need? What are the strategies and tools and equipment and resources and just tips that you need to be able to overcome those obstacles so your path to telehealth is as smooth as possible? And granted, of course, like any new skill, it takes practice. But I think with practice, a good mindset, the right equipment, and consistent coaching, you can be on your way to having a really smooth career path for telehealth. And you'll find that it will only enhance your skill set as an in-person clinician as well. And one day you'll be amazed to really feel that, hey, you know what? I was able to pivot. I feel like my online telehealth skills are just as strong as my in-person skills. You will be able to say that one day when you have the right kind of training and the right coaching, and when you just seize the opportunities for learning that come for you. So I just want to encourage you. I know we've all had to pivot, whether we're pivoting on skis or whether we're having to pivot to telehealth during a pandemic. You got this, and I want to be here to support you and to be able to provide you with the resources to really help reach your potential. I'd like to invite you to a masterclass. It's the 3 essentials for telehealth success. So just to get you started on the right path. And if you've already been doing telehealth for a little while, there's always more to learn. Just like skiing or any sport, there's always more that you can do to hone your skill and become a better athlete or to become a better clinician in the case of online therapy. So make sure that you click on the link below and register. And I'm looking forward to being your coach and sharing with you what I know to help you have a smooth path to telehealth with your online occupational therapy journey.